Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Look, I want you to think of our time together today as a one-on-one executive coaching session. If you're a professional who has to navigate, tense workplace dynamics, high-stakes negotiations, or just really difficult personalities, you probably already know that your hardest battles, they aren't usually about the actual work. No, they're about maintaining your absolute composure, your quiet authority when the pressure is completely cranked up. So today, we're going to build out your personal leadership playbook for exactly those moments.
Because here is the absolutely crucial question every single leader eventually faces. How do you hold your ground without losing your cool? Like, how can you interact with truth, grace, and fairness while keeping your self-respect fully intact? I mean, it's super easy to be polite when everyone in the room is nodding along with you, right? But when someone comes at you with anger or passive aggression or straight-up manipulation, well, our natural instinct is usually to either shrink down to keep the peace or inflate ourselves to try and dominate the room. And guess what? Neither of those actually serves you. So let's dive into this and look at a much better way.
Our entire approach today is anchored in one core concept, and that is dignity. But let's be crystal clear right out of the gate. Dignity is not softness. Not at all. Dignity is controlled strength. It's the ability to stay composed without shrinking and to stay respectful without surrendering your self-respect. Basically, it means calm on the outside, clarity on the inside, and ironclad boundaries underneath it all. You don't posture, and you certainly don't grovel. You simply choose your response.
So here is our syllabus for today. We're going to cover how to master your internal tempo, speak truth with dignity, hold boundaries without heat, the ACT conflict framework, and finally, the sovereign balance. All right, let's kick things off with Module 1, Master Your Internal Tempo, which is all about building the foundation of inner regulation. Look, before you can ever manage a room, you really have to manage yourself first. This is what we call the principle of intentionality. Now, reacting without thinking, that's just human, but responding with intention, that is a real leadership skill. Honestly, most social friction we experience doesn't come from what actually happens to us. It comes from how unconsciously we respond to it. If you're relying on reactive communication, you're essentially handing the other person the remote control to your emotions. But intentional communication, that keeps your power exactly where it belongs, with you. You can't magically change other people, obviously, but you can absolutely manage the dynamic.
So how do we actually do this in the real world? Well, you have to slow your internal tempo. True grace actually begins with regulating your own energy before you even open your mouth. First things first, take just one silent breath before speaking. Second, consciously relax your shoulders and soften your face. Literally, just let the tension go. This physically signals calm authority to your own brain and to the entire room. And finally, use the pause. Seriously, pausing for even half a second before you speak, it doesn't make you look hesitant or unsure, it creates massive authority. Dignified leaders let moments breathe. They never rush to just fill the silence.
Moving right along to Module 2, Speak Truth with Dignity. This is about delivering your message with clarity and self-worth. Words are triggers. The wrong ones create walls, and the right ones build bridges. On the left side here, we have words that inflame. Phrases like, you should, or you need to, automatically imply blame, right? They sound like commands, and they instantly trigger defensiveness in people. But check out the right side. Words that disarm. Swapping in yes and acknowledges their viewpoint while still keeping things moving forward. I've noticed, well, that just states facts without any accusation. What if we invites collaboration instead of forcing compliance? Truth becomes incredibly dignified when it's simple, clean, and completely free of all that emotional clutter. And that brings us to this. Emotional neutrality is power. Now, this is not about being cold or robotic or unfeeling. It's about absolute control. When you display little to no visible emotion during a confrontation, when you stay perfectly calm while someone else is escalating, you send a piercingly clear signal. You cannot be rattled. You are anchored. As a leader, just remember this golden rule. The person who controls their emotions controls the room. Period.
Okay, Module 3, Hold Boundaries Without Heat. This is where we talk about setting quiet but extremely firm limits.
Listen to this. A boundary delivered calmly is infinitely stronger than one delivered angrily. Take a look at this sentence. That's not something I'm willing to do. It's incredibly powerful. And you know why? Because of what it lacks. It lacks justification. It lacks an apology. You see, you really don't need to be loud to be strong. State your limit once and state it clearly. Don't over-explain it. Boundaries are not up for debate. And if someone tries to push, you simply disengage with total composure.
When you're facing conflict, it's just so easy to make things personal, isn't it? But the exact moment you conflate the person with the problem, you totally lose your footing. You have to address the behavior, not the human being. And while you're doing it, project quiet confidence through your paralanguage. Honestly, how you say things often matters way more than what you actually say. So stand tall and keep your tone measured. Responding calmly to outright aggression is quite literally one of the most powerful signals of inner strength you can ever display.
Let's get into Module 4, the ACT Conflict Framework. This is your tool for navigating the crucible of conflict.
Whenever a situation requires a direct confrontation, having a solid structure prevents the whole thing from spiraling out of control. The ACT model is brilliant because it removes emotion from the equation without stripping away the humanity. It's 3 steps. First, ask. You request a calm, neutral meeting entirely away from the heat of the moment. Second, transfer. You actually give the responsibility to them to propose a workable solution, which totally respects their agency. And third, clear. You state the core fact in a concise 10 to 12-word sentence. When you follow this ACT flow, it keeps your statements short and factual, which beautifully avoids triggering anyone's defensiveness. Plus, by transferring the responsibility to them to help fix the issue, you protect yourself from getting sucked into one of those endless circular arguments. So, for example, a crisp, clear statement looks like, "When you cancel last minute, I can't plan my day well. What would work better for you going forward?" Boom, neutral, professional, and entirely dignified.
Which leads us nicely into Module 5, the Sovereign Balance, balancing principles of fairness, self-respect, and knowing when to walk away.
You know, fairness is actually a massive form of quiet power. It means treating others justly, for sure, but never at the expense of your own boundaries. We call this the art of congeniality. Believe it or not, the absolute fastest way to create an ally is just to be one first. Extend kindness without waiting to get it back, listen so deeply that you actually empty your mind of your own agenda, and actively feed that positive loop. You treat everyone with respect, literally, from the janitor all the way up to the CEO, and you don't do it out of naivety. You do it because it's a reflection of your own sophisticated social intelligence and your character. But hey, let's be real. Fairness definitely does not mean you have to be a martyr. When someone flat out refuses to engage in good faith, or when being fair becomes literally impossible, the ultimate act of dignity is choosing not to engage at all. You walk away with poise. Just end it with a neutral line like, "I'll think on that," or "This conversation isn't productive anymore." And then you walk away at your own pace. Not theirs, yours. Keep your breathing slow and steady. Leaving a manipulative situation isn't weakness, my friends. It is supreme self-preservation. It's making the ultimate statement. I don't fight for my worth, I live it.
All right, so let's put this into practice today, because theory only becomes transformation when you actually act on it. First up, I want you to reset just one relationship this week by exclusively using I statements to totally eliminate any blame. Second, in your very next meeting or whenever you walk into a new environment, be the first one to be friendly. Seriously, just smile and initiate that warmth. And third, walk like you know your worth. Carry that settled, quiet certainty that you deserve respect into every single room you enter.
I really encourage you to start this positive loop right now, today. Because here's the secret. Dignity isn't something that other people just grant you. It's a standard you establish and then fiercely protect through your daily choices. Every single interaction you have as a leader is a decision point. It either reinforces or it erodes the standard you've set for yourself.
I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to carry into your very next high-pressure interaction. Treat people the way you want to be treated, not as a favor, but as a standard you hold for yourself. So, ask yourself right now, are your actions in the middle of a conflict reflecting the chaos of the room, or are they reflecting the unshakable standard of your own character? Thank you so much for joining this explainer today. Now go command the room.